Hey guys, I've already tried making this video like 3 times and YouTube keeps bumping it, so I have to do it the longer way. There's a couple things I wanted to go over this past week, but that's all going to be on the chopping block. That's going to be off the side. Yu-Gi-Oh! Should be up by tomorrow, for those of you who are asking about that. And that's going to be a bit more of a regular segment for me, because it's easier for me, and honestly, I know a lot more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Than I do Street Fighter. And there was another one I wanted to make about, and I'll do a more detailed why I believe this, about Ryu, Balrog, and Sagat, how everyone online uses them, and how 80% of people who use them online are just bad players. And I know I'll probably get a lot of trolls and hate mail from that, but I don't care, because they are. Now, what's the new news I need to cover? For those of you who don't know, Shine, the plasma-chucking asshole that he is, went into Battlefield Arcadia last night, saw Sanford Kelly, and basically said, yeah, I'm taking your spot, and beat him. I believe he came in second place. If I made if that's incorrect, please, comment it. And of course, I want to say, congrats, way to go, awesome job, woo, a win for Fight Nation. But there were two bigger things I wanted to cover that he affected, and they're actually pretty big. First off is the fact that he's part of Fight Nation. Now, I don't mean that in the fact that, yeah, Fight Nation's got, a backing behind it. We're a real deal. That's half right. It's been brought up a number of times in the chats, in the Skype shows, that online we really don't have any sort of rep. We don't have anything backing us up. We're not really taking that seriously, with the tournament crowd, with the offline play, with all that. We're not. We've talked about it a number of times. And it's always, well, how do we get rep? Well, the first immediate thought was, hey, Dayash will go in, he'll kick some ass. But at the same time, Dayash has got, I don't know how many haters, but he does. And then we have someone like Shine, who comes in, who, honestly, nothing meant against Shine, but isn't really seen as like one of those top tier when someone mentions Fight Nation. You mention Fight Nation, you think of like, Free One Up, you think of Dayashi, you think of Lucason, you think of Dark Knight, you think of Alvarez, unfortunately. But you don't really think of Shine. Which, Shine isn't, a big part of, Fight Nation. He's online almost all the time playing. Be it Street Fighter, be it like Modern Warfare or something. Now, how is that huge? That gives credence to the entire online community. Because, we have something huge behind us. We have some backing, something to back up our words. But the other big portion of it is, if Dayasha wins, it's most of us online, especially Fight Nation people, we expect that. We do. We really do. We expect Dayasha to go in there and win. And it's cool when he does, but, we kind of expect it. Shine, who, again, no offense to you, meant at all, who isn't seen really as a big face of Fight Nation, he comes in, he beats Sanford on the stream in front of thousands, and comes in second. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he came in second. That's my understanding. He got the entire crowd behind him. He got the announcers behind him. He got the stream behind him. He got everybody rooting for him. And I tell you, like, I rewatched that fight a number of times because they uploaded it about an hour ago. And just rewatching it, you can feel how everybody was just behind Shine. They didn't really know him, but they knew him by the next, 10 minutes after. And that's great. Because, I haven't, I played Shine a number of times, and, he beat me, 2 out of 3 times. Did I take some victories? Yeah, I did. I took some victories. But Forte wasn't going to take it all lying down. He saw Goken, and he threw Goken against the wall. And then Goken got up and chucked him against the wall, and then threw a good amount of plasma at him. A generous amount of plasma. Because he's a plasma chucker. But that's beside the point. But if I come in, if I see him beat Sanford, or anyone else who's played Shine, and even taken a couple matches, not like, a full, best 2 out of 3 or anything, but just beating him once or twice, they see him beat Sanford, that lights a fire in us. That makes us believe that we can start doing well in those big tournaments. And first off, there's no big tournaments in my area. The closest I'm going to get anytime soon there's PAX East, which I don't know if they have a Street Fighter. I would assume they have a Street Fighter tournament. And the weekend immediately following is Anime Boston, and I always go to Anime Boston because I love me my anime cons. I do. I really do. That's where I wore the El Fuerte costume last year. That's why I bought it, was for Anime Boston. And, last year I just kind of looked down at the video game tournament because, I still wasn't really that confident. I didn't have a fight stick. I didn't have a fight pad. I, would have to use a PS3 controller. Alright, now that Raw is over, I can actually fully focus on my video. But yeah, I didn't have any of that, and I honestly didn't have the confidence that I did then that I do now. Given, yes, I'm a better player now, but I was in love with the game beforehand, and in reality, if you really like a game that much, whether or not you're going to do well or not, you should join or not join anyway. You should just do it because you like the game. But, if you don't have the confidence, sometimes you don't do that. What Shine did was he bolstered the confidence, and I know I feel it. And I know there are probably plenty of other people who feel it too. And I'm pretty sure next couple tournaments, people who are going to be able to go, there's going to be a lot more people going. Because, honestly, there's probably a lot of online players who probably feel a lot more confident in themselves, in their playability, in their ability to play their character, I should say, after watching Shine take second. Whether or not they'll do well or not, that's still undecided. But I think Shine walking away from that victor gave a huge boost of confidence and credibility to the entire online community. So for that, Shine, I thank you. Good luck. And if I don't see you guys in another personal message or whatever, for the rest of the week, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and hopefully by the end of this week I will have a new TV.